The Street Files. A complete mystery short story every Wednesday. File 12. A Body on the Shoreline. Storm clouds are hanging in the sky, far to the west, as Olivia Street pushes the accelerator on her red MG Midget and heads out of London to pick up her daughter from university for the holidays. After 2 hours, she turns off Rupert Street in the heart of Bristol and stops in the visitors' space outside the Bridewell Student Hall of Residence. She calls Poppy on her phone and the girl says she's packed and she'll be down. Her daughter appears 10 minutes later with a large backpack, which they have to push hard to get into the boot of the sports car. Then Olivia weaves through the streets of Bristol, and they head south. "How many years have you and these friends of yours, Josh, Arthur and Grace, been meeting up like this?" says Poppy. "Since you were tiny," says Olivia. "We knew each other at school and lost touch when we went to different universities, then reconnected in our mid-20s. Josh was married and they had an anniversary party. He invited the old gang of 4 for a reunion. We all had children born in the same year. You, Dan, Lily, and Spike. His wife died young though, didn't she?" "Yes, a tragedy. Cassie had a car accident. We all went to her funeral, and the 4 of us friends vowed to meet up every few years from then on." "And what's this house we're going to?" "Lyle Court is called. Cassie's family were rich. They bought the place for her when she got married, and Josh and their son Spike have lived there ever since she died." "Did Josh never remarry?" says Poppy. "No, all 4 of us are single now. I never married, and Grace and Arthur are both divorced. So it kind of works. 4 of us, all single, all with 1 child born in the same year." The MG cuts across the country, through Market Lavingdon, past Salisbury and Alderbury, and into the New Forest, before the land starts to drop towards the sea. They cross the Lymington River and can see the 100 yachts in the harbour, moving on the waves in the afternoon light. A mile later along the coast road, Olivia drives in through the gates of Lyle Court. The original house is Victorian red brick, with tall gables at the front, and 1930s extensions either side, with heavy grey stone beams, like eyebrows above the windows. A garage block along the right-hand side of the frontage has rooms in the roof. There's no one about, and they step out of the car. The front door is open, and Olivia pushes it wide before they wander through the enormous rooms, laid out as a lounge, a dining room, a second lounge, and a 30-foot-long black marble kitchen. They find French doors to the garden, and then they see Josh next to a bonfire at the end of a 50-metre lawn. They walk out and towards him. They can see the ripples of the Solent beyond the foreshore, at the end of the garden. He is tall and gangly, with beautifully cut dark hair and chocolate brown eyes. He stops when he sees them and puts his rake in a wheelbarrow next to him. Then he kisses them both on the cheek. "Are we the first?" says Olivia. "You are, but everyone was told the same time, so they won't be long." He turns to Poppy. "Spike's in the games room on the top floor. Did you see the stairs as you came in? I'm glad you're here. He spends too long on that machine. Get him to go for a walk or something." Poppy goes back to the house to find the boy. "How have you been, Josh?" Olivia inspects his demeanour to see the truth before he answers. "Worried about Spike. He doesn't do anything." The oranges and yellows of the flames show the bones of his face. "Didn't he want to go to uni? All our kids are 18 now." "He doesn't know what he wants to do. Josh looks tired of it all. I spoiled him after Cassie, I think, he says. Gave him too much and bought the best things to make up for her not being here. It didn't do that, of course. I'm sure you did your best, says Olivia. What does he like doing? No idea. Josh looks sad. I can try and grab a few minutes with him later or tomorrow. I'm used to getting to the truth, even if someone doesn't know it themselves. Josh! Olivia! A voice that they both know calls from the house, and Grace is here. She runs across the lawn to them and nearly pushes the air out of their lungs as she hugs them both. How the bloody hell are you? She says, pushing her long brunette hair away from her green eyes. Good. You look in need of some excitement, Josh? What's that you're wearing? You need some wardrobe advice, my darling. She assesses Olivia's clothes. Always classy, Olivia. Lovely, lovely. Is Dan with you? She says. Wandered off somewhere. He wants to go down to the water. I told him to go and find the other kids. I'll get some drinks. Josh walks back to the house. Got a man, Olivia? You always turned out so well. I don't need one, Grace. What about you? They come and go, you know. What's that rock and roll song lyric? I love 'em and I leave 'em, but to me they're just the same. You're enjoying post-divorce, I can see. She leans in towards Olivia. I'll tell you the details later, after a glass or two of Chenin Blanc. Eddie's been difficult, though. He can't accept I've moved on. If I hadn't divorced him, we'd still be together and staring at the walls. He still loves me, though. Talking of people who love you, Arthur's just arrived. Olivia nods her head up towards the French doors. They both watch him walk towards them. I've always fancied him, did you know? Says Grace, and she winks at Olivia. Arthur! She calls across the lawn and runs the last few paces to him when he gets near. After dramatic hugging by Grace, Arthur escapes and turns to Olivia, his grey eyes smiling under his fair hair. You look well, he says. You too. How's Lily? Like her mother. And what's that like? Driven, romantic and lost. You never used to be this poetic, Arthur. I made the wrong choice of A-levels, I think. I should have avoided corporate life and been a fisherman or something. Or a poet. It's never too late. She smiles at him. Drinks, calls Josh from the house, and the three of them walk to him. After a mouthful of wine, Josh excuses himself and disappears upstairs. The others catch up on their lives and dreams. He reappears in the kitchen after a while, wearing a brand new shirt. Grace raises her eyebrows to Olivia, and Josh pretends not to notice. In the games room, Spike is on the game station when Lily walks in, with the same grey eyes and blonde hair as her father, Arthur. Poppy stands up from the squashy old sofa along one wall, and the girls hug. Your dad said we should go for a walk, Spike, says Poppy. How many hours are you gaming each day? I'm an expert, says Spike, not looking away from his current battle. The door slowly opens and the auburn-haired Dan joins them, his blue eyes picking out the details of the room, and his arm holding a model aeroplane kit. You okay, Dan? Says Poppy. Still doing your planes? He's quiet. Yeah. Where have you been? Says Lily. I heard your mum's loud voice downstairs ages ago. He doesn't reply. Poppy leans over and switches the power socket off in the wall, and Spike's screen goes black. We're going for a walk, Spike. Come on. Spike looks defeated, and the girls walk out. Then Dan waits for Spike to stand up, and the boys follow. Poppy leads the teenagers out across the grass and through a gate in the fence to the foreshore, near the water. Which way, Spike? He nods east and they start to walk. And after 10 minutes, the stones give way to sand that forms a tiny beach, no more than 50 yards long. Stone skimming competition, says Spike. and they all go and find the right type of stones to show their skills to maximum extent. Spike goes first and manages 3 bounces. Poppy gets 4, and Spike is annoyed. Lily and Dan are not as good, and Spike decides on a final between him and Poppy. But she wins, and he quickly says they're going to explore the caves at the far end of the beach. Dan starts to complain about getting cold, and he suddenly turns back before being engulfed in the rain, while the other 3 walk on. Inside the house, the adults continue to chat, then Grace announces she needs to change before food, and press gangs Arthur into hauling her suitcase out of her Range Rover and upstairs to the room that she's been given for tonight. When Arthur comes back down, he says, "That's the heaviest suitcase I've ever lifted. I think she's got the body of her ex-husband in there." Josh cooks with a new set of knives that he recently bought, and the others chat. Grace reappears in a Jenny Packham dress. After a while, Olivia looks out from the kitchen and through the house to the back garden. "When did the kids go for their walk?" she says. "It's nearly dark." Josh looks at the wall clock. "About an hour and a half ago." "I might call Poppy, see when they'll be back." "Signal doesn't work down here," says Josh. "They've been promising a mast up the hill for 2 years. She frowns. "Where did they go?" "Along the foreshore, I think," says Arthur. "I'm going to go and have a look," she says. "I'll come with you," says Arthur. "Lily's not great in the dark." They collect coats and Olivia and Arthur pull open the latch gate and step out to the foreshore. In the building storm, the wind is stronger now as it comes off the Solent and buffets the land. They walk along the stones, and Olivia can feel the first spots of rain in the air. "I can't see any lights or anything," she says. "They won't have gone far," says Arthur. "I'm not sure you can go far along here anyway. I stayed with Josh down here a couple of years ago. We walked along here. There's a beach, then it ends in the sea." Olivia pulls out her phone and switches on the torch app to give some idea of the surface that they're walking on as they go further east, and the light starts to fade. They reach the sand, but the tide has come up, and the beach is only a narrow strip now. "I want to go further along, as far as we can," says Olivia. And she pushes up to the remains of the beach and starts to tread carefully along. They reach the headland at the end of the cove, and there's only wide open water beyond. "I'm getting concerned, Arthur." "We should go back. We'll get cut off," he says. "It's not high tide yet." "Poppy? Poppy!" she calls. But there's no sound apart from the rain on the water. "Come on now, Olivia," says Arthur. "They're probably back in the house." She isn't going to be deterred, and Olivia listens through the rain and the crashing of the waves against the land. Then, through the rising storm, she hears it. "Mom! Poppy, where are you?" "We're in a cave. We're cut off, Mom. The water's come up. Spike tried to climb the rocks to find a way out for us to escape, but he didn't come back for 10 minutes. Then he slipped over and hit his head, and now he's unconscious." "There's a path on the other side of the headland, Olivia. I've seen it," says Arthur. "Stay there. We're going the other way." They run to where the ground starts to slope up, and they hare across the top of the headland. On the other side, there's a narrow path on the cliff edge. She takes one step onto the path, then another. When she's halfway down, her foot slips, and one leg yawns out across the water below her. She scrambles back up and keeps stepping gingerly down. "Poppy, I'm here." The girl can hear her mother, and appears in a narrow gap between 2 large rocks. "Is it big enough to get through?" "Yeah." Poppy turns back to Lily. "Come on, get Spike first." Olivia can see Spike's body being lifted up and through the gap. Arthur is next to Olivia now, and they get a grip on the boy and slowly move him through the gap, then up onto the narrow path. Arthur has to drag the boy up further, as Lily appears next and shuffles along only a few feet above the sea. Then Poppy steps out onto the path, as the water has started to fill the base of the cave. The party all gradually move back up the path until they are at the top of the headland. Arthur tells them to put Spike on his back, and the man then leads them around the cliff top and onto the beach that's now a foot deep in water. Arthur goes on ahead to get Spike inside, and after a few seconds the rain has enveloped him and the boy. Olivia walks back with Lily and Poppy towards the house, but it's slow going as the storm rages around them. The teenagers are quiet until Poppy says, "What's that, Mum, in the water?" She points to the shoreline of the Solent, lapping against the stones 30 meters away. "Plastic or something?" says Lily. "Washed up on the tide?" "No, it's bigger than that," says Poppy, and she walks off to inspect the shadowy mass more closely. The others wait in the darkness, and the rain in the air washes across their faces. "Mum, it's a man." They walk over. Olivia goes down on her haunches and inspects him. "I can't feel a pulse," she says. "I think he's dead." Everyone is quiet. The sea continues to lap against the body in the water, and one wave is bigger than the others and pushes him over onto his back. "It's Dan's dad," says Lily. "I'm sure it is." "Let's get away from here," says Olivia, and she herds the teenagers back up the foreshore. The latch gate to Lisle Court is only a few yards further along. They go through, then run across the grass, before crashing in through the French doors to the main lounge. "Poppy, you and Lily go and change your clothes. Then find blankets. I'll make hot chocolate and get you warm." The teens go upstairs. Josh is at the door to the kitchen. "Arthur's taken Spike up. I checked him over. I don't think it's serious." "That's not all, Josh," she says. "Where's Grace?" "In the house somewhere. Why?" "It's her ex, Eddie." "What about him?" "He's on the foreshore." "Oh, God, is he kicking up a fuss?" says Josh. "How did he know we were here?" "Let me be more accurate," she says. "Eddie's dead body is on the foreshore." "Can't be." "Sadly, I know a corpse when I see one, Josh. And I've seen a few." "He's dead?" Josh looks disbelieving. "Go and look for yourself if you want. We need to call the police." "The lines are down. The phone will be off until the morning at least," he says. "Often happens out here." Josh grabs his barber off the coat hooks and walks out of the side door as Grace steps into the lounge from the dining room. "Come and sit down, Grace," says Olivia. "Is there wine left in those bottles?" She goes over and pours 2 glasses of Vermentino, then sits down next to Olivia on a long sofa that can seat 4 people. "When was the last time you saw Eddie?" "Last week. He called at the house late one night, with his usual moaning. I told him to piss off." "And you haven't seen him since then? What are you getting at?" She pauses momentarily. "He's died, Grace." "What do you mean?" she says. "How do you know?" "He's outside, by the water." "My ex-husband is outside dead by the water?" She doesn't cry or react particularly, Olivia notices, but Grace does drink most of her wine. She's quiet for a second. Then she says, "I didn't love him anymore. He wasn't that bad, you know. Kind in the beginning, just dull at the end. Did I go too far?" Arthur's feet can be heard on the stairs. "Spike's fine," he says.
He's awake. Asked to go on his game station. I said he can't do it for 2 days as he's got concussion. So a slight win for Josh.
The women don't smile.
Did I go too far?
He says. It's not about that, Arthur. There's a body on the shoreline. It's Grace's ex-husband.
How did he get there?
We don't know.
Did you call the police?
The phone lines are out from the storm. We can't report it until tomorrow.
How did he die?
Says Arthur. Can we talk about something else? Grace looks angry more than sad.
Sorry,
says Arthur.
You didn't love him anymore, though, did you?
Grace is about to leap to her own defence, but only says quietly, No, not anymore. The French doors open and Josh walks in, soaked to the skin, as there's a downpour now coming from the sky.
It's him. Nasty gash on the back of his head.
You're not supposed to move the body, Josh. You'll destroy the DNA evidence.
Any DNA would have been washed away by now. If not from the sea, then from the rain. We should get him under cover. I don't want a dead man outside my house all night.
I'll tell you what, says Olivia. Let me go and inspect the body. I'll take some photos so the police can see. I can explain to them that we had to move him because the forensics would have been destroyed. The others all exchange glances, then nod in silence. Have you got a waterproof coat, Josh, and spare gumboots? She says. I'll go out and have a look. In one of the bedrooms right up in the roof of the house, Poppy and Lily are sitting by the window watching the wind and the rain after changing their clothes.
Did you know the dead guy? Dan's father?
Says Poppy.
A bit,
says Lily.
He used to call round at Dan's place, when my dad and I used to go round and visit. We only lived 15 minutes from Dad's house. My dad and Grace spent lots of evenings together after they both got divorced. Where's your mum now? I don't see her. We didn't get on. She hates Dad. Reckons he tried to take all her money. What money's that?
Says Poppy.
She was rich like Cassie, Spike's mum,
she says.
Do you know that Cassie was my dad's girlfriend first? But she dumped him for Josh. Did he get over it?
Says Poppy.
I'm not sure he did.
The rain is steady and heavy as Olivia opens the latch gate and walks to the shoreline. She has her phone in her hand and she takes photos of the details of Eddie's body position and pictures of his face, neck and hands that may be relevant for the forensics officers once she gets through to the police. She inspects the corpse for wounds and first checks the head wound that Josh had mentioned. It is a large laceration and looks recent as the blood is still oozing out of it. Olivia looks at the skin on the hands, but it's not bloated. So the man has not been in the water, but just left here on the foreshore. On Eddie's feet, he has only one boot, and his left foot has nothing on it. Olivia moves his head to inspect for other wounds, and the skin has been sliced across the carotid artery on his neck. This wound is big enough to have killed him. She takes more photos. The blood around the neck wound has started to coagulate, and the laceration is thin, so the blade must have been very sharp. Olivia stands up to try and get a grip under the dead man's arms and pull him out of the water, when a pain catapults into her head on one side. She feels her face hit the stones of the foreshore, just before she becomes unconscious.
What do you think about Spike?
Says Poppy to Lily in the bedroom.
Why did he leave us for so long in that cave?
Lily shrugs.
He knows the coastline around here. I guess he was trying to find a way out of the cave for us. I'm not sure I believe he slipped accidentally either. What?
Says Lily.
He was pretending to be knocked out. Why would he do that? He was just acting oddly after we came back,
says Poppy.
He's Spike. He's always been like that since we've known him, hasn't he?
Consciousness rolls back into Olivia's brain and she becomes aware of water on her face. She opens her eyes. The tide has risen slightly, and her mouth is under water. She sits up and spits out the sea, then coughs. There's still rain in the air. Her back aches where the water has dropped her body temperature. Then she moves and she can feel a lump on her head. When she looks up, she can see that the body has gone. It takes her a minute before she can stand. She makes her way back through the latch gate and across the lawn to Lyle Court.
"My God, what happened?"
says Grace, as Olivia peers through the French windows.
"I was hit on the head. Come and sit down. I don't know where the men have got to."
Grace pours brandy from a bottle on the sideboard and hands a glass to Olivia. After a moment, Grace looks directly at her.
"I need to tell you something, Olivia. I lied to you. Arthur and I are together."
"Why did you lie?" Grace shakes her head.
"I don't know. I'm used to being sparse with the truth on the topic of who's in my bed."
"How long's it been going on?"
"A year,"
she says.
"We were both divorced at the same time, a month apart. So we were both commiserating with each other, and one thing led to another. Dan doesn't know." "I do, Mum."
The boy's voice shatters his mother's confessional.
"Danny, I didn't see you there. I tried to help, Mum. It probably will be over in a few more weeks. Then I'll move on. You know what I'm like,"
she says.
"Come over and have a cuddle. You're never too old for that."
Dan walks slowly across to her and sits down, but he keeps his hands in fists as he puts his arms around her.
"Cuddle me properly,"
she says.
"Unroll those fingers."
She pulls the fingers back on his left hand, then tries to do the same on his right, but he won't let go.
"Come on, Danny, relax."
Dan unravels his hand to reveal a modelling knife pressed into his skin. His palm is covered in blood.
"What have you done, Danny?" "I tried to help, Mum."
"What did you do to help, Dan?" says Olivia.
"Is this your blood on this knife?"
He's silent as he cuddles his mother. They can hear the kitchen door open and Arthur walks in, his face crumpled in anger and frustration. Olivia notices Dan raise his eyes to Arthur, and they smile at each other. "What did you do to help, Dan?" repeats Olivia.
"I tried to stop him,"
says Arthur.
"But the boy was out of control." "It wasn't me."
Dan is up suddenly, the knife still in his hand. He stares at Arthur.
"I stopped him blackmailing you." "What's he talking about?"
says Grace. Dan is getting more animated.
"Dad knew what Arthur had done, Mum. Dad was blackmailing Arthur. I didn't want Dad to spoil it all again."
"Blackmailing over what?" says Olivia.
"Don't, Dan."
Arthur's voice is loud now, and it fills the room.
"He killed Josh's wife, Cassie. She was Arthur's girlfriend first, and she dumped him for Josh. So Arthur killed her because he couldn't stand seeing her with another man. Dad found out and needed money after you divorced him, Mum."
"Did you cut your father's neck with that knife, Dan?" says Olivia.
"I tried to stop him," shouts Arthur. "He wouldn't listen." "I had to," says Dan. "Arthur said he'd get rid of the body."
Olivia turns her eyes to Arthur. "Then you attacked me when I was out there taking photographs," she says. "What have you done with the body now?"
"It was all Dan, not me,"
says Arthur. And Dan moves quickly across the 6 feet towards Arthur. He pushes the knife into the man's heart. The Street Files, a complete mystery short story every Wednesday.